Okay, ready?
Magic.
Are we actually live this time?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pass the Clam for the third time today.
Third time.
So, welcome. I am Spoon, the host. I am the dictator. I am the point czar, as you like to call it. I call points on the hottest takes, the spiciest takes, the right takes, no wrong takes. You give the wrong takes, I get seen up again, and I apologize. We will go back to the standby screen for the next time. Sorry about that.
There's simply no way.
Okay, so now. Surely.
Hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back, bro. All I really take is a little taste. Island girl, blue eyes with a little bass. Here for the thrill, I don't need a chaser. Wanna vibe at the getaway. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all got the semi-four way. Don't step out the line like this, a probate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pass the Clam, whatever you want to call it at this point, because it's been a very long time. My name is Spoon, and I am the czar, whatever, of this podcast thingy for the fourth time. And basically how this works is, for the fourth time again, is I am going to give points to each of our pundits here, or deduct points if I feel it's not appropriate or if it's not a good take. So we have 4 people on the cast here today. The first one is the person who is a Top Gun wannabe, but clearly not fit enough to be in one of those movies. We have K-Bot himself.
And I will have you know that that is true. because when I was a child, I played soccer. Then I got tired of running, so I switched to baseball. Then I got tired of running again, so I switched to bowling. And then the joke is that I got tired of walking, so I sat down in my chair and started hosting esports tournaments. Yes, I did the whole bit again, because I might as well do the whole bit again at this point. And let's hope that this just works.
Next up on the cast, we have someone who's clearly compensating for something on the top of their head, Mr. Popgun.
And I'm the only one here who's having the absolute best time of my life as well. Hey, Spoon, I'm actually going to win this event, though, because I've been studying top-level players. I know the strats for events like this. I didn't read the rules. That's going to give me all the advantage I need.
I'm already going to deduct a point from you just for that statement because you're not reading the players, you're reading me. So -1. You're definitely on a roll right now.
There we go. Go ahead.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Omega Strikers himself, someone who clearly thinks that the new esports going to be Omega Strikers and not Splatoon, Mr. Magic 8 Ball.
Well, you know, Spoon, I'm this close. I'm this close to just going on top of my soapbox, but I'm not going to. All I'm gonna say is, play better, win more.
And last but not least, I have nothing negative to say because we are taking a refugee from the United States to Canada shortly, and that is Nox. And just for that alone, you gain a point.
Let's go! Hell yeah.
How's it going today, Nox?
It's going good. Glad that it seems like audio's working.
All right, so we're gonna go right off to the first topic here. And we're gonna say that there were a lot of contenders in the league with so many strong players. After league play, who would you vote for MVP of the league here? I'm gonna pass it off to Popgun since you're so confident that you're gonna win. I definitely want to hear this take.
Look, it depends on how you define the term MVP. In most North American sports, it just means the best player. But when you look at the most valuable player, it has to be Volty. You got a team like Alliance Rogue that cut one of their players, and they didn't even have a replacement in mind. They're just like, we're getting you out of here, and we're just rolling with 3 players till we figure something out. And ultimately, they decided on a carbon roller player who turned everything around and took AR to being one of potentially the best team in the West. I got a crazy stat for you. When you look at kills to death ratio, you take assists out of the equation. Only 2 players on Alliance Rogue are in the positive as far as KD ratio is concerned. Kiver is +7 and Volty is +32. All the other players are in the negatives for Alliance Rogue. You cannot tell me that Alliance Rogue beats Starburst without Volty on the roster. Clearly the MVP of the league.
You are correct. Alliance Rogue is the best team. I will put you back to 0 for that one. Okay, Magic, I see you nodding your head, so get ready to lose points. Let's hear it.
Well, clearly the only team that went 3-0 was Jackpot, so they have to have the most valuable player, and that has to be Leafy. That Stamper has been tearing things up, and in combination with Jared on the machine, they've just been an unstoppable pair. And really, I believe that is due to Leafy's just very solid positioning. I'm taking less of a stats approach and more of an analytical approach. Gameplay has just been solid all around.
Great. I'm glad that you get to lose a point here. How about you, K-Bot?
Magic, I disagree with you. The numbers never lie. And what do the numbers tell us? They tell us at the end of league play, there is a player with a nearly 3.0 KDA. You want to guess who that player is? It ain't any of your aggros. It's .Q on Jackpot. 2.998 leading the league in KDA. 365 paint per minute, which might not be the same numbers as Gray, but is still good enough to get you 3rd in the league, right behind one player that only played like 1 single match. So pretty sure that .Q is clearly letting the foundation exist for the rest of the players like Leafy and Madness to do that running in that you see. That is the most unspoken thing that we don't get to talk about when we get to go on the cast, because we just look at the flashy plays. Oh, look at me. Here's what's getting the kills. But at the end of the day, if you're staying alive and painting the map, that's the most important part.
So, Iceman over there, I like your style. I'm a gambling man myself, so I definitely vote for jackpot in every scenario, but I'm going to deduct a point because I love flashy plays, and that's kind of cringe. So we're going to go off to Nox.
So I'm with K-Bot on the not flashy play thing, but it's a different player. I think that, like Popgun was talking about with Volti, AR needs to set up Volti for Volti to be able to get that 32 positive kills. And to do that, you need Gray. You cannot have an Alliance Rogue without Gray. You could put a different Slayer in. They probably wouldn't do as well as Volti, sure. But without Gray, Volti wouldn't have the paint to move, and a Carbon's useless without paint.
Nox is here to win it. Gray is the GOAT. That's why he starts with the letter G. So we all have our picks in here. I like all the takes except for Popgun's and maybe Magic's. Actually, Popgun, I like your take about Alliance Rogue. I just didn't like your attitude about it. But Magic, just do better next time. So let's get into the next scenario or topic here. The Resurgence League featured an incredibly small map pool with only 3 maps per mode for a total of 12. This seems to have made the league a more enjoyable playing experience. Is it finally time for a universal map pool across all tournaments? So I'm biased here. Clearly it is the best. I made it, so I know it's the best. So let's hear all your wrong takes if you don't agree with me. So K-Bot, let's start with you.
I think that limiting ourselves to 12 maps for a universal map pool across all tournaments is an incredibly dangerous thing. We are 8 months into this game. We are still getting fresh updates. You have no idea what special weapons are coming. You have no idea what main weapons are coming. You have no idea. I mean, maybe we could assume that Nintendo won't actually nerf Crab Tank and nerf Splash-O-Matic, and it'll still be the strongest weapon in the game for who knows how long. But I digress. We still don't know what other options there are going to be. We still don't know if the meta is going to completely change. It could go back to E-liter meta like 5 more times between now and the time that we stop getting patches. Why are we worried about trying to narrow down what maps we play now? If we try to do that, you're going to send us right.
I'm sorry, everyone. I just had to mute K-Bot while he was talking because this is clearly the wrong opinion. I'm going to move right on to Popgun here. Let's go.
Thank you. Now, look, K-Bot, you're half right, but do we really need to play the game this much longer to figure out that Mincemeat is a map we don't need to be touching at all in tournaments? Look, I don't think we need universal map pools just yet, but I think we do need to start locking in on map ponds or map lakes. Why can't we just decide as the community as a whole, let's just take 6 maps out of each mode that every tournament pulls from, and every tournament pulls like 4 maps each, and they get like 16 maps out of that universal map pool. That way we all know what maps we should be scrimming, and we don't have a random tournament that has, oh, here's in grand finals, Mahi Splat Zones, which half of the idiots in chat think is great, and the rest of us know is not. So yeah, we need to start narrowing things down to a much better map lake that people can draw maps from.
I appreciate socialism. I like that idea. Let's go with you, Magic.
I am a firm believer that we should actually be shortening the map list basically to the point that we have in the InkTV League. I was personally a big proponent of this when it first popped across my feed, thanks to Spoon. It's not that having a lot of maps to play is bad, but it's that having less maps to play means that there's more time that can go into them. And not only that, but it also means that we are only playing the maps that we know cannot be cheesed to the point of no return, right? And that's really the heart of competitive integrity, is we want to make sure that there's an even playing field, that although certain maps might have their strengths, every map can be utilized by each team to gain an advantage and to prepare strategies for. I think that we should be shortening the map list down to 15 or 12, and we can update that over time. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it has to be stagnant, but it should be consistent at the very minimum.
Wow, it's like I was talking through Magic on that one. Great job. You should look at your scoreboard in a moment. How about you, Nox, my fellow, yeah,
I'm gonna get myself
kind of
in
Canadian
trouble here.
at this point.
I want to play Umami. I want to play bad maps. Let me play bad maps. sometimes it's important to let cheese happen because it's very funny on stream and it's funny for the team doing it. Who cares about anything else? It's funny. I just want to see ridiculous moments happen, and I think Umami can let me see that. I think Mincemeat doesn't let you see that. I do agree that Mincemeat could be gone and I wouldn't care. Mincemeat can die. But there are maps that are just funny, and I don't know why we don't play Mahi, because I think Mahi Clams is very good. I think Mahi is a good map, mostly. A lot of maps are fine, and they don't get played, so people don't play them, and then we never get to see them, and then I'm personally sad because I don't like any of the normal maps.
Okay, K-Bot, can you give me the name of a seafood restaurant in the United States?
Red Lobster.
Perfect.
Where did that come from?
Well, all those maps that Nox just named should stay on a plate at Red Lobster, because that's all they're good for.
They're funny.
Thank you, I am hilarious. I'll give you a point back just because you complimented me.
Are
There,
you making a
minus
joke
15.
because
Sure.
Red Lobster has cheesy bread?
I mean, that's the best part about Red Lobster, so...
And just like the
Lobsterfest,
best parts
baby.
of those maps is the cheese. Exactly.
Okay. Well, now that we have Nox coping, let's get to the topic of cope harder, NA. So everyone is riding high off of this showing of high-level competitive Splatoon. Do you think we can finally contend with Japan? Magic, let's start you off.
So, as someone who has deeply been involved with the Japanese intermingling between the Japanese and North American side, at least on the broadcast and organizing side, I have been well attuned to what has been going on in the international competitions, and I can firmly say, that we can contend with Japan at this point. I don't think that they're ahead of us in meta or in strategy. I don't think that they're ahead of us in terms of mechanical play. I think that Starburst can easily match up to them. It's just going to be a matter of, can they play well on the day? Are they going to be playing at a time that suits them? You know, like, are they going to be consistent? Like, how hungry are they on that day? It's not, I don't think that it's down to, oh, they're just simply the superiority. You know what I mean?
Okay. I like that you're NA biased. I'm a big NA biased fan, you know? You support America, or Canada in this case, I'll support you.
I do not support America. I support Canada all the way.
Perfect. Oh, wow. Magic's really gunning for my heart on this scenario here. I'm not going to give it to you. There's too much brown nosing for me. We'll go to Popgun.
Magic's trying to sell us all a bill of goods. No! What have we seen in this league that you would make, oh, this is a connection that we're closing the gap with Japan? This is like me
Hold on. I'm going to
playing
cut
really
you off
good.
right now.
For what?
We have the best production.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
You can continue.
But we're talking about the players versus each other. This is like me saying, oh, I won my intramural baseball league, and then saying, does this mean I'm closing the gap with the New York Yankees? No, there's no direct correlation between any of this. Just a little reminder, whenever the teams from the West play in the Splatoon World Championships, they have a 50% win rate in round 1, which is best of 3, and a 0% win rate in round 2, when it becomes best of 5. When it comes to the majors we have in the West, going all the way back to Super Jump 1 back in the summer of 2021, Japan has won them all. And those are tournaments that have rule sets catered towards North America, playing only one Splat Zone game with the counter pick system, with the language barrier benefiting the players from the West. And oh, by the way, Japan playing at 4 in the morning on Monday, and they're still winning all of that stuff. Until we can compete in our own tournaments, why should we think we can beat and close the gap with Japan? It makes no sense.
Because North America is the best region of all time. But I agree with you, even though we're the best. I'm going to pass it to you, Nox, on some of your thoughts.
So do I think that we're really going to be able to beat Japan? No. Do I think we can put on a good show? Yeah. Do I think North America is going to be the one to do it? Probably. But right now we're also seeing Alliance Rogue being able to pull stuff off. And I, unlike everyone else in here, happens to be a fan of EU. Just another way to lose points, apparently. Great. Good. But I think Alliance Rogue has an interesting comp that'll do a better job at disrupting a lot of things. And I also just like EU teams. That's my stance. I think EU has a better chance at it. I think it's either going to be Starburst or Alliance Rogue, and I think they both have an equal chance at disrupting in a Japanese team right now.
I agree with you. Alliance Rogue in my heart is basically NA to me, so it's all good. You can say Alliance Rogue is the good team. How about you,
That's not how
K-Bot?
it works.
I
To
don't
me,
think
they're
that's how that works,
they're
Spoon,
they're
but
gonna win the whole tournament, so it's okay.
Magic.
True.
Magic is on something else right now, and whatever he has, I want some of to be as delusional as whatever he's doing right now. Watch our teams play. If I was to go back in that Starburst versus Alliance Rogue set, I could point out so many mistakes that both teams ended up making during the course of that set. If you want to go up against the best, you've got to make sure that you are on point, and these teams are not on point based off of the eye test yet. You all know that because of how much I'm screaming in the off-stream analyst call when all of that's going on. Okay, I know, and I watch it happen that our teams cannot fully capitalize on the even space that they start generating for themselves. It doesn't quite add up, and it certainly doesn't mean that all of a sudden our Western giants are going to come out and actually go toe-to-toe with Japan. They will continue losing for the foreseeable future, and I don't see a world where that changes.
Great topics for everyone. I don't know how much I can delegate here. I like all of your takes. I do think Japan is the best, but you know, it's the way you said it about North America. Have some heart. We're going to get into, I want to consume copious amounts of crab for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A variety of styles have appeared during the league, and teams have begun to shift around the weapons they play. At this level, how important is playing the meta? Is still mostly defined in the West double crab, or are there other meta strategies that you can use to adapt? Let's start off with Nox. What are your thoughts on the meta?
I think double crab, still fully functional. You can definitely still play it. Still works. We see Starburst doing it. Still works for him. But I think you can play other things into it. I think you can develop comps to go against it, like AR has accidentally done by having Volti. If you find a way to disrupt the rhythm of the double crab, you've kind of ruined their game. They need to have that opening, and they need to maintain the same consistency throughout the game. And so, yeah, you can run both. That's my stance. You can run double crab, or you cannot. It's not vital anymore. I think if you're going to run a crab, you should run two. I don't think it works well as one crab. But I think there's an argument for both sides at this point. And I prefer to see non-crab just because it's more entertaining for me personally.
Okay, interesting take. Magic, your thoughts on this situation?
So the way that the question is phrased is, at this level, is it important to play meta? And my counter to that is, it is important to understand the meta, but since you understand the meta, you understand how to bend the rules and when to counter them. So, should you be playing generally really strong weapons? Yes, but do you have to be playing the best all the time? No, and we've seen that throughout this league. We've seen the Stampers, we've seen the Wipers, we've seen so many different interesting pocket picks come out, as well as the development of the ballpoint in the past ever so often. I think that this meta is constantly shifting and changing, and it's almost turning into a rock, paper, scissors. Not exactly, but no. Crab is not the dominant pressure point at this point. Yes, it's important in all compositions, but it is not as strong as it was.
Okay. How about you, Popgun?
Double crab works at this level because that's what Starburst uses, and up until a few days ago, nobody has beaten Starburst at that point. And look, it's not that there aren't other things that work just as well as double crab. It's just players haven't been incentivized to use other things, because until you lose, you don't really have to change up the things that you like to do because they work. Here's another stat for you. I'm just going to keep bludgeoning you with stats here, Spoon, because I know you love them. Starburst versus Alliance Rogue. Starburst used double crab 7 times. Alliance Rogue only used double crab twice. And those are 9 games, by the way. Now, does that necessarily mean Alliance Rogue not using double crab was the difference in that? Not so much, but when you dedicate to a craft off meta, aka the carbon, and still surround it with other things that are very much meta, you can go a little bit off script and you can come up with something new. But when you constantly win with double crab, why are you incentivized to try something else? There are counterplays out there. We just haven't discovered them yet.
And K-Bot, can you give me a take that is not extremely boring at this point?
Of course the counterplays exist. Okay, Spoon, what do you want me to say? I've been the one that's been saying no double crab for the longest out of anyone here. All back on Seafoam, I was like, we need to find some counter for the crab tank. Pull out your Zukas, pull out your triple ink strikes, pull out anything. I was on the triple ink strike copium before it was cool, and I think you can run anything from 0 to 2 crabs. You don't need it. What the reason why you would run 2 crabs though? It's the easiest to play and it's the easiest to execute. It has the largest margin for error, and I understand that. But it doesn't mean that it's the most powerful, and it doesn't mean that it gets stomped by other playstyles. The reason why Starburst runs it is because it is the easiest to use to enable their players. If they can set up their double crab cycles, all of a sudden they've got their long range weapon covered. But at the end of the day, if you start playing double crab against double crab versus Starburst, you will lose. You are playing the mechanical battle. You do not get to win the mechanical battle versus Starburst. You will lose. That's the end of the argument. You need to find other counters to those things in order to come in. It's exactly what Alliance Rogue did, and I think Jackpot probably has got something cooking too.
Okay, I'm going to come out with it. All of these takes suck ass, and I'll explain why. Okay? The whole point of this conversation is just to say that the meta doesn't matter and players are going to play the best weapons, and none of that matters. The best competition will be the best. Who gives a shit about the meta? That's the real answer. So all of you don't get points, but you don't lose points. I'm disappointed in all of you.
Sorry, Dad.
You're welcome, daughter, I guess. Okay, let's move on to the wild card. Hold on, let me get my wild. We don't have a soundboard for like wild card, so I'll just do it. Woo! Wild card, bitches! So let's get into it.
Is this BNS?
The topic
That's what it sounds
is,
like right now.
does balding make you a better caster? Does it give you wisdom? Popgun, can I have your insight on this?
It definitely makes you more appealing to the chat, whether you like it or not.
I mean, as a fellow balder over here, 30 plus. 30.
A fellow balder, bless your heart. Do you want me to take the wig off and we have a comparison here? I do not feel sorry for you, Spoon.
I agree that we're the best casters, but, I just wanted everyone else's take on this, too.
Oh, please. I'm tickled. I can't wait to hear this. Go. Yeah, let me
Hello, I'm right here. I'm relatively young. My hair grows out like an extra inch every 6 weeks, and I have to go get it mowed down to keep it this short. And I'm pretty sure that there are very few people that could have gone on for the minute and have 250 words per minute or whatever at the end of that Starburst versus Alliance Rogue set. I am still riding the high from that cast, and that's all I'll say.
I'll give you a pity point here, K-Bot. Let's go to Magic.
I mean, do you want me to kiss your ass more? Like that is my question at this point.
If you do it tastefully, if it's very supple and tender, I'll take it.
No, I firmly do not believe that how much fur is on your head determines what comes out of your mouth. Although some people would disagree with me.
The right answer there said, well, it goes into the beard. And boy, do we have luscious beards. That's all I'm going to say. How about you, Nox?
Well, I'm not at risk of balding, unlike the rest of you, really.
You know what? I'm going to give you half your points back just because of that.
And also, how am I supposed to have blue hairs and pronouns if I'm balding? Excuse me. One lifestyle I have.
Whatever pronouns anyone wants. The balding doesn't matter.
To be fair, I'm no longer at risk of balding either. Do I get a point for that?
That's true. You have just done it.
All right, let's move on to some more serious subjects. Budget cuts. We're in a recession here, It's been a tough time. Tech companies around the world are starving, Oh, look at me, poor $1 million company, I can't give $1 to shareholders. So we have to cut the budget. So the expected favorites won their groups, and the expected underdogs got eliminated without causing major disruptions. Should a recession be in place? Should only top 4 teams been in the league? Or are we thankful that there were 8? K-Bot wrote this question. I just want to point this out. This is a stupid question, but we're gonna
Wait,
ask
it's
it
a
anyway.
stupid
So, K-Bot, go ahead. Say your speech about how we should only have 4 teams in a league. Dumb take K-Bot. Let's go.
Okay. So, the argument probably comes into the league format more than it comes into like the actual teams playing in the league. Because if you ran this league 99 more times, I almost guarantee you that nearly 99 of those times it would be the same top 4 teams coming out in playoffs. It wasn't interesting. We all knew who was going to advance. Graveyard Shift gave them a run for the money, and Alliance Rogue upset Starburst in Game 9, and that's all well and good. But, like, what else happened here? Yeah, we got to see Nightmare. Yeah, we got to see the other stuff.
Nightmare.
Crush Soda did absolutely terribly, despite the fact still somehow they were good enough to actually end up coming out at second in their group. Yeah, Nightmare was cool to watch in the qualifiers, but you can watch them do that in any other tournament. Give me more playtime with the actual high-level teams. I love you all. You're not at this level yet.
Oh my. Okay. 0 deaths versus Nightmare was an incredible match. You're gonna say that was meaningless? I mean, I'm gonna fight you on this one. I need to know. You really think that should just go away?
I will say it was difficult to get into watching that one because we all knew that there weren't any stakes on the line.
There are stakes on the line. There are always stakes on the line. There's team pride. We're playing for no money here. We're only playing for pride. So there's just as much stakes as everyone else. But I'm gonna pass it off to someone else to roast your ass. Magic, let's go.
K-Bot, you can actually just go die in a hole for that one. Like, really? You're gonna tell me that all of the exciting matches, that all of the teams that got not only a boost in confidence and morale, but also got to be a part of it, as a famous man once said, that all was meaningless? No, this was... The fact that this storyline happened could only have happened because the extra 4 teams were in the league, because this Cinderella story that was Nightmare ended up burning through the qualifiers and kept that entertaining. The only reason that we have what we have right now is because of what we put forth with these bottom 4 teams. And even though, sure, they didn't do as well as they wanted, even though they didn't come out on top, it was still important for them all to play and show their stuff, because there were teams like Penguin that we might not have heard of otherwise. There were teams like 0 Deaths that really got their chance in the spotlight. This is meaningful to me. This is meaningful to them. And taking that away, I think, would be counterintuitive to what we were trying to pull off in the first place with InkTV.
Yeah. So do you see that dog beside Nox, Magic? You got that dog in you. That's what's up, okay? I
Dog like
appreciate
Spike.
that. Mad respect. So, Nox, let's hear your take on this with your very cute doggo.
I want to see teams like 0 Deaths. I want to see teams like Nightmare. Nightmare's admittedly been established for a long time, but we're seeing them really get to climb the ranks. 0 Deaths, newly established, well-known players admittedly, but newly established, and did exceptionally well for, like, they've only been together for a month. I want to see what they do. I wanted to see what they did in this. They took some great games. They nearly took some things. So did Nightmare. Nightmare nearly beat Crush Soda, and while, like K-Bot said, Crush Soda's a little questionable at the end of it. Still, they put up a great fight, and that's more than anyone probably would have expected from them without being in the qualifiers of this league.
Yep, I can't agree with you more. Everyone, okay, before I go to Popgun, I need to break down a little story here. We were literally having discussions about this league and deciding what format we wanted to run. And we're like, we need open qualifiers, and we need to make it double elim. And everyone was like, no, it could be single elim. We could have less brackets, we could have less teams, right? And I'm just gonna put it on the spot. We had myself and Marsh, tooth and nail. We fought to the death for this, and we said, no, you need more teams for one reason: the underdog story.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the underdog story, and if you take that out, it's useless. But let's go to Popgun.
I'm glad you guys have all mentioned Nightmare, like they're the only example of a great underdog that we could talk about here. Was I the only one that watched the Graveyard versus Alliance Road match? That probably was the second best match of the entire league. Think about that. Graveyard was not a whole set, one game away from tying Starburst and Alliance Rogue at 2-1, and we would have had this awkward three-way tie at the top. To say Graveyard Shift doesn't make the playoffs out of 100 times running through this league is absolute madness. And we're not. And by the way, speaking of madness and Jackpot in their group, if Penguin doesn't DC in the qualifier league, they take Crush Soda's spot in that other group. Are you telling me Penguin, who didn't win a set in the other group, would not have found a way to maybe beat Nightmare and Zero Deaths and claim a playoff spot for themselves? There's so many great storylines going on here. Yes, this so happens that those 4 teams we all knew were going to make it, but you can't say it was easy for any of them other than Jackpot.
Great. So I like to assess the points here at I don't know if this is halftime, but we'll say it's halftime. We have Magic at 25 because of his scorching hot take on top 8 teams. We have K-Bot at minus 30 because, well, it's K-Bot. You already know he's going to lose this event. We have Nox at 15, just coasting by, and Popcorn with a solid 20. So as I said before, the points don't matter, but clearly I'm favoring Magic at this point. So we'll just go with that. On to the next topic. Penguin, endearing or cringe? Penguin, Popgun, your thoughts?
You mean Ping-1?
Like the pronunciation, not the team.
I think it is cringe.
You think your own pronunciation is cringe?
Okay, was that where that meme came from?
Yes,
I didn't know.
Yes,
All
that's
right,
where
I-
it comes from.
Okay, I didn't know.
You've been saying
if
it
that
wrong
was-
for like the entire show.
I thought you guys assumed I was predicting Penguin to win one of those sets, which I didn't, but no, I didn't realize that was me. Look, I was raised in Southern Kentucky. They didn't teach us English, all right? I grew up learning chicken scratch in vocal form. So you guys just got to take what you can get from me. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna move on. I'm actually speechless by that.
They don't get another. Nobody else
We
gets to
memed on
chime
it.
in.
I memed on you the whole time. You didn't know. I feel so bad. Not really. I'll give you 5 extra points because I feel bad. Here's some pity points.
Thank you. This is. Do we have any other wild cards that make fun of Magic at any point?
Don't worry. We have a couple going. All right, so days since last Splatoon Drama 0, because apparently me just roasting Popgun is drama already. So over the course of the league, Jackpot was quick to tweet out after their wins. Is this kind of trash talk a good and healthy thing in the scene, or a bad one? If I had a Crush soda can, I would take it and I would drink it and crush it right now, just to prove that this is the right call. But Nox, let's hear your take.
Yeah. I definitely look, I want to see Volti just go off and do some wild stuff. That's my goal here. I totally processed the question for sure. I didn't have an ADHD moment for sure.
Do you want me to repeat the question for you? Over the course of the league, Jackpot was quick to tweet after their wins. Is this kind of trash talk a good and healthy thing for the scene?
Yeah, absolutely. To some degree it is. I think there are players that sometimes take it too far. But yeah, no, shit talk your opponents. Hell yeah. Look, I grew up in UNC Duke territory. I love some good shit talk. Obviously, don't take it to physical violence like some places do. But like, yeah, set some bonfires in the street. Go for it. Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, if you've just seen all the videos that K-Bot and I have edited and put together, I think you could tell that we are trying to spark those flames in some way, and the players are trying to play along too. So I will say that, but K-Bot is going to deny his own take because he's K-Bot.
No.
Let's go,
I'm
K-Bot.
going to
Let's
agree
hear
with you
your
on that.
response.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to get most of these players to talk at all? I mean, I sit and call with you all. Look, the version you got of Mattis was like the best possible sound bites we could have given from him. The rest of it was literally just him going, I don't know what's going on. How difficult is it for these guys to just talk? How, like, just talk, say something, start having energy, emotion, show it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of, like, sitting back and be like, oh, I've got to act so nice. I've got to be everyone's friend in the public sphere. No, who cares? If you all are getting mad over Splatoon, you need to sign off and go touch some grass. That's all I'll say.
I'll give you some points back, but you're still going to lose because I'm going to make sure of it. But let's go to Popgun.
Look, you're talking to the guy who has to deal with this question in the low ink help desk at least once a month. My opponent squid bagged me and I clipped it. If I show you the clip, can I get some free wins off of this? Let me just be on the record with this right now. No, who cares? Trash talking is awesome. I thought everything Jackpot did was absolutely hilarious. There's nothing wrong with it, especially when it doesn't cross the line. They're not getting personal with anybody. They're not saying anything mean. They're not body shaming people. As long as it's just poking fun. And by the way, when you're at the very top like this, whether you're a player or somebody who's losing their hair, people are going to poke fun of you whether you like it or not. You just got to learn to kind of deal with it. And nothing Jackpot did, in my opinion, or anybody's sensible opinion, crossed any kind of line. If you got a problem with it, just win your games, forehead. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I'd argue I'd argue some of those teams' player profiles had more trash talk in them than the memes that were on Twitter. Like that Gray versus Alliance Rogue with Alliance Rogue Kiver just being like, there's no friendship on the battlefield in Brand 2. Like, I think that goes harder than like a crushed soda meme, you know? But anyways, Magic, let's finish it out with you.
Speaking of Crush Soda, nobody's mentioned their tweet after the Crush Soda Nightmare set, and it's like that was easily the best trash talk that we've had in this scene in a long time, and I think that Kyo brings that fire, and people were kind of done like shaming him for it. Like, no, that was perfect. That is literally right in the gray zone, and that's where you need to be for this trash talk, right? Like, you can't just be. Jackpot's great, right? But it's very clear that they're just trying to play it up. They're trying to play this game. Crush Soda gets a little bit personal, and that's where it should be, honestly. And the response that Nightmare had, like, could have been better, etc., etc. We could talk about what they did, etc. But that is where it should be. It should get people talking.
Yep. All I'll say is I think we've gotten fans of teams from this event. I think we've gotten fans of players from this event. Sorry, I cracked my voice. I'm 13 years old. I just think that overall it's great and it shows players' personality in a way that you wouldn't see before. I think you've seen Nightmare and other players. But that being said, we have Popgun here popping his gun off at 35 points. And we're going to go on to the next question here, which is, no, this is not a prediction segment. I am the dictator here. Playoffs are set to take place on Saturday with Alliance Rogue versus Crush Soda and Jackpot versus Starburst. What is your hot take heading into the weekend? And I don't want your predictions. I want your hot take. I realize that I need to pass it off to someone. I definitely thought someone would cue themselves up here from all the passion of this event.
Somewhere.
So I'm going to pass this Clam. I'm going to pass the Clam Chowda over to Magic.
You want my hot take? I think that EU takes the crown back. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going to shake out, but I will firmly believe that after
I'm just going to cut you off right now. I know how this will shake out because there's only one European team, so it's going to be Alliance Rogue. But continue.
All I'm saying is that they're going to show that they are easily in contention, if not the best team in this league. I'm going to say that after the crown tournament, EU has not held that thing for a long, long time, especially after Tassel playoffs, but this is the time that they're going to take it back.
Great. Nox, how about you?
Yeah, my hot take
Do you think
is...
Europe is going to win as well? Is that your hottest take of all time?
Yeah. That's not a hot
Magic,
take. That's just
that
common
is like
sense.
the weakest take. We all know Alliance Rogue is going to win. Let's be real.
That's not
So my hot take is that Jackpot's going to beat Starburst. Starburst, gone. Done. Out. No need. They go to the third place match. We're going to see something wild happen in the Jackpot Starburst set, and that's all that matters. That's going to be great. I can't wait to see what Leafy pulls off.
As I mentioned, I love the number 7, and I love gambling, so I agree with this take. Let's go with you, Popgun.
Wow, Magic.
Whoa, hold on. Magic, am I gonna have to kick you from this video call?
No,
what do you?
No,
you're supposed to be sucking up to me.
Do you love
here.
gambling?
No, I don't. I don't encourage gambling. I've actually never gambled in my life.
I was
If you want
about
a
to
real
say,
honest
you
answer.
don't seem like the gambling type.
I never even bought a lottery ticket for myself.
Dude,
But
what?
on this cast with imaginary points, whoa, I'm gambling away. Let's go,
Yeah.
Pop Gun. Let's hear your take.
I got to give a shout out to Magic, hot take, for deciding that the number 1 seed is going to win the tournament. Nicely done there. Look, I don't believe there's anything crazy interesting that's going to happen as far as who ends up in the standings on the final podium of this one. It's going to be Starburst versus Alliance Rogue. Here's my hot take, though. I believe whoever falls to the 3rd place match is not actually going to play it. I think somebody's going to drop out of the 3rd place match, or it's just going to become a meme fest because either one or both teams that make it there aren't going to care enough to actually try. That's my hot take. The 3rd place one's going to be a total shit show.
Wow. I have nothing to say on that one. K-Bot, let's hear your wonderful take that you're going to give us right now.
So I would say that the playoffs would be decided by basically random chance, but that's not necessarily going to happen. So what I'll say instead is that the playoffs are actually going to be decided by which team gets to ban a mode. That'll be the first seeds coming out of the groups in the semifinals, and that would mean that the teams winning the coin flip would be the ones. Look, here's the excuse.
Okay. Remember not reading the rules? You clearly didn't read the rules because in playoffs, the top seed gets to pick which mode they want
No,
to do.
that's what I just said.
You just
That's
said
what I-
coin flip.
Oh, no. I said it would be coin flip if it was just the regular season matches.
Okay.
I did read. I did see the announcement.
Continue.
I pay enough attention to host your desk on Saturday. Anyway.
By the way, nice job, Magic. I gave you points just for that little snide comment right there, but continue on.
So, as I was saying, it's going to come down to mode bans more than anything else. You all watched Jackpot not do so hot and in the zone recently. They were not looking the best. Now, some of that might be map dependent, but I think some of that's mode dependent too. They haven't figured out they're not as explosive on splat zones because you can't be explosive on splat zones. The other thing here as well, in this league, splat zones is Alliance Rogues territory with the carbon maps of Mako and Flounder. Those two maps are probably going to end up being the difference maker because Starburst cannot engage. Thank you, Spoon, for just continuing to deduct points because you have nothing better to do right now.
No,
I'm trying to make an actual analytical point here, and it's just minus. See you later. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Okay. Madness has me at gunpoint here because I'm on his Valorant team and I'm not allowed to talk bad about Jackpot.
It's all
We're gonna win.
Madness's
We're
fault,
gonna win
isn't it?
our old people league, even though Madness is 18 or whatever age he is. But we're gonna win.
That
He's
kid.
gonna zoomer his way for us to victory, and I can't have any trash talk on my cast about Jackpot over here. Also, second thing I will say. You clearly know I'm against you on this because I literally made a tweet about it saying that Jackpot is going to dominate pretty much because they practice on modes that they know they're going to play. You start expanding the map pool and they're not as prepped, yeah, they're going to lose some games. But with 12 maps, they're crazy drilled.
Okay, so here's the other problem for Jackpot. They have to pick which mode to ban, probably, and they have to choose between like 3 modes. Between zones, they have to choose for tower control, which Starburst has been completely dominant on, and Rainmaker. Starburst has basically been dominant on too. Have you seen them play both haggle games where they've gotten it down to 15 on the left side of the map? No other team is doing that right now. I don't really know why, but they're able to set it up and they're able to make it look like it's a piece of cake no matter who they're playing against.
Okay, so your final take here, you're saying that you think
My
Jackpot
final
is
take
a
is
better team.
Nope. The
Okay.
take is it comes down to who gets to ban the mode. The team that bans the mode will win this match.
Well, Jackpot gets to ban the mode, so are you saying that they're going to win?
Most likely.
Okay, I'll give you 10 points back.
I'm trying to
these are
have like a
bad, Gabe.
nuanced analytical point, and
No.
it's just a matter of whether or not Jackpot wins. It's whether or not if Madness was still playing Zuka, it'd be a matter of whether or not he hit his lottery ticket Zuka.
This isn't ESPN. This is InkTV. This is Spoon. I just told you it's a dictatorship, okay?
I appreciate K-Bot doing his best Tetris impersonation, is going as negative as possible to help everybody else out.
K-Bot thinking it's golf out here. All right. And I guess for one of the final wild card segments, if you want, I can say it again. Woo! Wild card, bitches. We're going into the final question. Drum roll, please. There is no drum roll, but pretend there's a drum roll in your head. Thank you. What is the best game outside of Splatoon, and why isn't it Omega Strikers? Magic, can I have your thoughts on this?
The best game outside of Splatoon is obviously League of Legends, baby.
Oh,
Play with four of your friends on an expansive.
I had to mute him for slander. That is the wildest take I've ever seen. We have to cut the cast. I'm sorry we're ending. Actually, we're not ending right now, but I'm going to pass you off to Popgun here.
Look, I got to go with the answer that I know you will appreciate, Spoon. Give me StarCraft 1, not StarCraft 2. The first game where I actually started naming myself Popgun back in like 2000, 2001. It's very outdated, but it's still a fun game. I literally play it still every day, and watch the competitive scene for that as well. Shout out to Artosis, who's probably live right now.
I'm just going to let you know right now that is basically how I got my name, was from StarCraft 1. Also, Artosis Tasteless. What an artisanal choice, by the way. That is chef's kiss. You were cooking something. You were roasting magic. I love it. Let's go to you, Nox.
Yeah, so admittedly, I don't play other competitive games. All of the rest of them seem not fun. They're not colorful, but I do play so much Stardew Valley and Hades. So they're both great. Hades, fantastic game. Everyone should play Hades. And Kid Icarus Uprising, if it had a competitive mode that was functional, absolutely would be the best game. Sadly, it has not been brought to the Switch, which I live my life in devastation by every single day. I would leave Splatoon for Kid Icarus Uprising in a heartbeat. Multiple people have heard me say this before.
Okay. I like these takes overall. They're very nuanced. It's not as good as Popgun, but let's go to UK Bot. We'll save the worst for last.
The worst for last? What? Why? Okay, I've gotten last too many times. Anyway, I don't even need to have the game out yet to know that it's going to be the best game. Tears of the Kingdom, hello? This game looks hype as hell. It's just Breath of the Wild, but like better in every way, and there's gonna be actual story by the looks of it that'll probably actually progress as time goes on while you're actually playing the game. Do I need to say any more? We're doing the Breath of the Wild thing again. Get excited for it. I don't know why you're not excited for it, and I know what I'm going to be doing on my plane ride home from LTC, because my plane ride there is going to be too early to be playing it on the way down.
So I have to give you points only because I know that the chat is going to roast me if I give you negative points, but I do want to give you negative points simply because you're an analyst, so you should only be giving points to games that you know are out and can objectively identify.
Oh,
so that's
but
clearly a lack of judgment on your part.
I know that Tears of the Kingdom is going to be good. Have you seen any of the preview videos that have gone out?
Is it in your hands?
I know it's going to be good.
Do you have eyeballs?
Do you have the leaks?
I have
K-Bot?
eyeballs to
Do
work.
you have the leaks?
He's got the leaks.
He's got the leaks.
He's getting roasted by Reggie on Twitter.
Spoon.
Cut down the Nintendo Ninjas are coming.
I don't play Splatoon.
Same.
I watch Splatoon. I watch other people play Splatoon, and I tell them how terrible they are at the game, okay? I can watch somebody play Splatoon well and compliment them for being good at the game, and I can watch a game that I know is going to be good on YouTube and then come to the conclusion that it'll be one of the greatest games ever made.
Okay, so I have a question for you now that you've exposed yourself. Here's my gotcha moment. Take that, liberals. My question for you is, why are you in the +1 server if you don't play the game, K-Bot? Sounds like you should be kicked from it.
Boom!
Because it's a popularity contest, that's why.
I mean, it is a popularity contest, and it's because I'm not hated. If they hated me, they would kick me out, and they would have done it a long time ago. But actually, it turns out that I'm pretty well liked, generally speaking, which is the only reason why you're able to get away with me with deducting this many points from me. So, yeah.
Okay. I don't agree with you, but it's fine. Also, the best game is Valorant, so all of you are wrong.
All right, listen, I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to. Is that okay?
No, you should have said it. I would have given you Omega points. You probably would have won the game. So it's clearly lack of judgment on your part. There was a right answer in this one. And then we'll throw one final bonus one in here. Let's spice it up a little bit because I asked the panel for like what they listened to or what they watched or what they do other than Splatoon. And literally every single person basically said that they don't do anything except video games. They all have gamer brains, okay? So this question is going to be perfect. So my question to you is, what is the best Fast and the Furious movie in the franchise? I want to get your thoughts, Magic. Please tell me which one's the best and why.
Fast and Furious 9, because though they do like a jump between two buildings.
They do that a lot in a lot of those movies.
Oh,
they
really?
go to space in one of the movies. So,
Really?
yes.
All right. Well, I'm talking about the one in Dubai.
That is Fast and the Furious 6.
All right. It's
So you
because
turn
it's
it upside down.
Yeah, exactly. It's because it's in Dubai and they have a lot of good race cars. Yeah.
And how about you, Nox?
Yeah, so I'm going with Fast and the Furious 6 because with some quick Googling, it has my favorite car ever in it, which is a Pagani Zonda. So that's my stance. I like Pagani Zondas. That's in Fast and the Furious 6. Sure.
Nice. See, you all said you didn't watch this, but yet you all have an answer.
I didn't watch it. I Googled which one had Pagani Zonda in it because I knew one of them would.
Perfect. Pop Gun? Please tell me. Actually, I didn't ask you in particular. So have you watched the Fast and the Furious series?
It's been a long day without you, my friend. That song's from that movie, right?
Yes, it is, actually.
There we go.
It's when what's his face? God, I'm gonna sound so cringe. I should deduct points for myself for not knowing this. But when Paul Walker is his name. When Paul Walker passed away, R.I.P. legend. Pop Gun.
Yes.
So that's the one that you like?
Yes.
Which one is that?
That's the Fast and Furious.
That's the first one.
Yes.
He
exactly.
did not pass away in the first one.
They also do
Perfect.
that. Is that
Moving
what the
on.
family meme comes from as well?
That's from all the movies.
Okay, yeah.
Drinking
There we go.
Coronas and embracing family. It's perfect.
You know what?
This is the I didn't pay attention in class, but I can pull something out of my ass to at least make it interesting enough until you forget about this.
I thought of every single person that was gonna get asked this question. I thought Top Gun was just gonna beat us by a landslide. I thought it was like, all right, he's the actually cultured one of this group. He's right
How
up
is
there
Fast and the
with
Furious
Spoon's
cultured?
age group, and he's just gonna know he's gonna get this one. And I cannot believe for the life of me that Top Gun is just like the rest of us.
Oh, look, I watched Citizen Kane, I'll let you know, a couple of weeks ago, and my mind has been trying to wrap around that. I grew up watching Land Before Time. We want to talk about Land Before Time movies. I dominate this, but no, Fast and the Furious. I'm sorry, okay?
Listen,
I'm sorry.
Fast and the Furious is a cinematic masterpiece, and you're missing out. If I was at LTC, we would have literally marathoned 1 through 9 the entire night.
No chance.
I'd
No
honestly,
chance.
subjected-
running this tournament, I'd put it up on the fucking projector.
I've literally subjected my wife to a marathon of Fast and the Furious. So
Hey, by the way, breaking
take
news:
points away from
Splatoon
Spoon?
fans don't have other hobbies. More at 11.
yeah. So
like,
K-Bot,
what-
what's your favorite Fast and the Furious movie?
The one where they drive the cars.
That is the dumbest answer because that actually, if you really wanted to know when they actually street race, it's actually the first 3 movies, and then they kind of get away from that and they become more of a criminal organization / superheroes. So
This is
That's
more
kind
about
of
the
a
Fast
real
and the
answer.
Furious. This is more about the Fast and the Furious than I ever wanted to know.
Well, fun fact, if you think of the superheroes as cars, then the movies make sense.
Okay.
Little nuggets of information. You should definitely watch it because now I've piqued your interest.
Why would I
haven't
not
Now
just
you're-
watch Transformers?
I was about to say,
Like,
you're describing Transformers.
No.
Shia
Transformers
LaBeouf.
transform cars. Fast and the Furious are superhero
Can we get
cars.
this guy off? Can we get this guy off? Can we get this guy off? Can we get a new host
Look, if
in?
you want to watch superheroes, just watch the DC movies. Just watch the animated DC movies from the 90s. There's one option.
Or you can watch Fast and the Furious. Anyways, I think that about wraps it up with our show. I hope you all enjoyed my little deep dive into Fast and the Furious here. But we're going to end it with a couple of little shout outs here, and then I'll say the final score. So, Popgun, anything you want to shout out? Any last grandstand? Any last gesture you want to make to redeem any points?
Yes, a shout out to our production crew behind the scenes, not just tonight, but all season long, that have been doing all these things that make us look good when we have an opportunity to look good. Huge shout out to the production staff. There's a reason why we don't do these kinds of things on any other event. Not to take shots at anybody's production staff, but this one has just been top notch.
He says with the IPL sticker on his mic.
Listen, we support all organizations, okay?
And there's a lot of IPL people behind the scenes.
There's a lot of IPL
That's
people
true.
helping out behind the scenes.
That's
So,
true.
let's pass it off to Magic.
I want to shout out all of the content creators who have been working to help us promote this, to help us promote LTC, which is now going to be the second most attended LAN in Splatoon history. I believe that especially Ken Knows It All, Prochara, Vic, Gem, all of them have been doing such a meaningful job to me personally, and I'm sure to everyone at InkTV, to put themselves not in harm's way necessarily, but to put them that step forward to promote these things, to promote these events. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. It means the world to me, and I'm sure it means the world to everyone here.
K-Bot, let's hear your final take of the evening.
Final take for the evening. I don't know what a final take for the evening I'll have. Hey, this has been a lot of fun, both in terms of this show and in terms of the league. So shout outs InkTV for pulling us all together and putting on one party that lasted an entire month and just letting us crash on your floor and ruin and muddy the waters a little bit, and then we'll be out of here next month. So have fun cleaning up. But no, shout out to everybody that's been involved around the board. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of this, and I cannot wait for our finale on Saturday.
And Nox, let's close it out with you.
Everyone's thanked everybody already, which is like the go-to. I can show y'all a dog if you want. I've got one.
Show
I
us
can
the
grab
dog.
Lee. Yeah, come here, Joe. Come here. Come here. Come here, Joe.
No.
Maybe.
He's so sleepy. Yeah, here's Joe. He's a good boy. Aw.
We
All I
love
can offer is
Joe.
dog.
Dog is
Everyone's
all
been
you
thanked.
needed. So with that, we have our winner of Pass the Clam. Not that it really matters. We have 55 points with Nox because Doggo. We have Popgun because he mostly is based, as the chat likes to say, and the youths these days like to say. You are sheesh cap on a stack, goated, Popgun. Great job. We have Magic
you.
with 23 for generally good opinions, a little bit too much brown nosing, and let's just say you had some bad takes in between that brought you down, but you know. And then we just have K-Bot, you know. What do I even need to say?
I stand by my opinions. That's a joke. I'll be the villain tonight so everyone can point and laugh at me. That's fine.
Exactly. So everyone go point and laugh at K-Bot. Okay, that's it. Have a great night, folks. See you all later. Bye-bye.